Shout out to Miza.
Shout out to Miza, yeah.
The Miza's helped incredibly with forging those relationships for Irv.
Okay, so I've been around him a little bit, but I don't really know that much about him. But he was instrumental in that era?
He was probably one of the most powerful men in music.
Wow, okay.
In that era. He's responsible for tons of artists breaking. And if they don't come back and tell him, they're fucking wrong. We give him his flowers all the time. He's doing the show now. He credits me because I reached out to him and said, come on my show. I had a show called Giving on the Business, and I did it in Vegas, and he came out. And I was talking about all his acclimates, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he went through a lot of tough times with his grandmother passing and everything. But after he got through that, after that interview, he tells everyone, I'm only doing this. Chris Gotti got me back in. And it was because his stories is bar none, and what he's accomplished, you can't take away. And he helped everybody's career. Power 106 was the place. If you didn't get and not just here, the affiliates across the West Coast. West Coast is way bigger market than the East Coast markets. So it's, from a numbers standpoint, a huge thing. And then his company that he's with was, I believe, Hot 97, and in New York, which is, again, so now he had the New York influence. He was a monster, and they always respected him and spoke to him the right way, and he had the vision, and he got it done.
It's kind of interesting how you say that the West Coast has that big of a market, because I feel like we're always on the West Coast. I'm from the East Coast, but I feel like we're always kind of having conversations about how the West Coast doesn't translate to the rest of the country at this point, and how hard it is to break West Coast artists because their identity just maybe isn't relatable in a way that doesn't seem to really impact like a Chicago rapper or a Texas rapper. You say that,
and think of the iconic artists you have. Yeah. Even from Game and the size, the magnitude of how much. Shout out Game. What up, boy? How many people was out here? But look, Kendrick Lamar just set records for the biggest concerts.
Right.
That's West Coast power. That is West Coast power. Come on, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. West Coast power.
But a cynically minded person would say that Kendrick having the biggest year that a rapper could potentially ever have hasn't necessarily trickled down to a lot of other West Coast artists.
Well, that could be true, but he has to wrap his arm around him. Did he do that? That's the question. Has he wrapped his arm? And then again, did they deliver the record, right? It's always about music. He could wrap his arm around anyone. If they don't have that hit record, it means nothing.
Right.
So that's what it's a two-part combination. Did he wrap and embrace them and say, hey, this is the guy that I'm supporting, and trying to push his fans to go check him out? And then did that guy deliver that record? If that didn't happen, it's like an unfair assessment.
Right.
Because that's what it takes.
I guess he did, because on his album, he actually did like the thing that nobody ever does anymore, which is he took like 8 different underground artists from LA and put them all on his project. Like probably one of the most attention paid projects in his career, for sure. Everybody was dying to know what he had to say at that moment, and he really did put on a ton of talent, which you don't really see a lot of that anymore. You'll look at the track list for an artist, like a very popular artist, and they'll have features, but almost always it's big artists that they're using to enhance their project. So you got to give it to them. But I feel like Kendrick also saw the dark side of that, because some of the artists, they're not doing so good in life. They maybe are having drug issues. They're freaking out on Instagram. And all of a sudden it's like, this is like Kendrick's doing. Like he kind of created this problem, even though in reality, all he did was give these guys a chance.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah.
But that example, I'm gonna give you what Leo used to tell us: protect the underbelly. So without knowing Kendrick Lamar's entire understanding of what he did he do 8 artists because he's truly trying to just empower them, or is he trying to keep? When you get bigger, you go cross over more, and you're not sitting there talking to the original people that actually got you there. And that's what I mean by protecting the underbelly. That keeps it like grounded. And without being inside his camp, I couldn't answer that. But I'm sure that's part of the decision of why he put those artists on his album. No one ever did it. It's keeping that underbelly safe. Like, he's showing he's real. He's still tapped into that culture and people. It's business.
I mean, there's the cynical reading of it, and then there's the optimistic reading of it. The optimistic version is like, Kendrick just cares about the culture.
Yes.
He wanted to take this moment that was huge in his career and help out all these people. And then the cynical version would be that he was paying too much attention to the comments that were saying, oh, you're having a great year, but you're not doing anything to help out California as a whole. But I mean, I feel like it also helped. It was a rallying call for all these people. Like, I mean, California got behind Kendrick in a way that was kind of stunning.
Come on, amazing what they just did.
Yeah.
That's why, he has he got the car now, right? I'm the captain now. Kendrick, you the captain, boy.
Has there ever been moments though where you looked at the game and you were like, you know what, rap music isn't maybe it anymore. Maybe this isn't what it used to be. Maybe I'm falling out of love with it.
No, I'm a defender and protector of the culture and hip hop, like period. The reality is the saturation of it is the probably why you would even bring that up. But we're not going nowhere. As long as there's a struggle, it's going to exist. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm from the have-nots. As long as there's a struggle, hip hop will live.
But do you in any way feel like you're kind of fighting against gravity in a way, because so many people get older and they no longer have the ability to appreciate
Adam,
it in the same way? I tussle
with all these executives all the time. They call me, we go to lunch and everything. And these kind of questions come up. And what I would tell you, like I tell them, why are we just not allowing hip hop to kind of find things out for itself? Right? That's the question. All other genres of music has been able to do that without that pressure. Why are you putting that pressure on hip hop? We're no different. It's a music form. So you're going to get all types of different sounds that come out of this music form of hip hop. And you have to allow it. It may not be the best versions of things. It may not, but it doesn't matter. The core, at its core, hip hop is what? Where you from? Tell me your struggle. That's hip hop. And are you believable when you tell me it? That's what makes hip hop hip hop. Right. Like people like, oh, it doesn't matter race, color, creed, it doesn't matter. You relate to that person when they hear it. Like, man, I don't know what that is, but I understand what he's saying, like, and how that must feel. That's hip hop.
You know, when I had a moment of doubt about it was when it felt like everybody was just consumed with like dance music and EDM, like 2014.
Those are waves.
There was a moment where I was like, oh, okay, like this stuff becoming bigger than hip hop. If that is where the culture's going, that's going to make me feel like a grandpa, because that's not shit that I love. So I'm going to basically be forced to like, yeah, I'm going to listen to this shit that I like. I can accept it and I can appreciate it to a certain extent, but this isn't my thing. So I'm going to have to just kind of accept that the culture has left me behind. And then, but then soon after, boom, SoundCloud rap. And then all of a sudden I'm actually in the game.
You know, first things first, is nothing wrong with being a grandfather. That's the goal.
Yeah.
To get old and have your kids around you.
But you want to go out on your own terms.
But yes, but with that said, you can't stop people chasing money. People ask me about certain things. How could you stop this or that? And I'm like, how could you stop something that's, let's say, negative if someone's making money from it? Right? You can't change someone because they're chasing money. And that's what that EDM, I mean, I remember all my producers chasing after being the producer for these records. And then I remember all the executives blocking them from getting it. Like, this is not your culture music. This is what we do when we have the producers here. And it's that battle, but it's all over the money, because if everyone turned to that music and now those artists or those records was generating so much money, everyone's running there. You know, it's crazy. It's, you know, when I was a kid, everyone wanted to be a doctor and lawyer. I don't see that same drive and passion no more for kids. And they only did it because that was the big paying jobs. Right? They chase the money. It's like, forget music in life. That's what everyone's doing, really. They chase the bag. Right. And that's what EDM to me represented. So yeah, they had their run. Yeah. They'll still be around, but it's no one's chasing it like they did anymore. Yeah. For a minute there, you would just hear these stories about how much EDM DJs were getting paid to have residencies in Vegas and shit. And I would just be like, oh, like that shit is
leaving this rap shit in the dust, apparently.
Yeah.
Maybe I got to start faking the funk and acting like I appreciate it a little bit more than I actually do.
Could it be black and white?
I think when you make music that is very easily digested by really people of all colors, I guess, but that, you know.
No, I'm talking about the business.
Oh, okay. But I'm saying that the racial component, I think, definitely has something to do with that too.
Like all those DJs and they're getting all that money, 50s and 70s and $80 million for residencies. And I'm like, is that a black and white thing? I don't understand how come it couldn't have been, but they have huge records. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't know. I just felt funny. In my opinion, it was. And then when I seen the executives not allowing producers who had great records, and they're like, "Nah, we don't want that."
Shout out to our sponsor, Everything 420. They're like the Amazon of smoking gear. They've got vapes, grinders, glass, edibles, flour, and even shrooms. The E420 app makes it super easy to browse and order, and shipping is always fast and discreet. They're always running deals too, so check out the app and use code NOJUMPER for extra money off.